Funding for Off 90 is provided in part by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota.
Coming up on Off 90, he's an artist that's never been to art school, and you won't find his work in any gallery. Find out what makes Jesse Bohlman's drawing so special and surprising. The words of the Bard are brought to life at the Great River Shakespeare Festival in Winona. There's music in the air in Chatfield. It's also stored in the town's one-of-a-kind music lending library. And Alonso Sierralta sculptures tell the vivid story of his immigration. Buckle up, it's all just ahead. Off 90. Hi, I'm Barbara Keith. Thanks for joining me on this episode of Off 90. We hope to inspire you with our stories today, whether it's through the music of Chatfield, the drawings of Jesse Bohlman, or the words of Shakespeare. We bet you'll leave with a new appreciation for all the amazing stories that come from our corner of the state. First up, we'll introduce you to Jesse Bohlman. He's unlike any other artist we've profiled on our show before. He has a remarkable talent, but how he discovered that talent and what he did with it will no doubt move you. Take a look.
Portraits have been something that I've really gotten to enjoy because of the, not only just drawing a person on paper, but trying to capture their personality. It's really a challenge, and I enjoy, making people smile and make them say, that's the person, or that is not only the person, but it's their, their personality. It started out many years ago in prison. I landed in St. Cloud in 1991 on a drug charge and receiving stolen property. And the officer that was in receiving, he handed me a bedroll and a handful of pencils and a handful of envelopes and some blank paper. And he said, when you're done writing your letters, he says, teach yourself how to draw. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, and I'm not proud of much, but this is one of the few things that I am very proud of, and it all started right here. I lived in a small little neighborhood, and I was kind of left to defend for myself as far as keep myself busy. At age 13, I started using marijuana and drinking, and started skipping school, and one thing led to another. I dropped out of high school. I left home and found myself in that lifestyle of using a lot of cocaine, and started selling cocaine. I was arrested. And it's where I really started using my art to help me get through some of the emotions and some of the things that were going on. I did a lot of what I call precious memories. I would draw things from my childhood, like little kids, doing things together. And it just reminded me of when I was younger and before when things went all to hell. And got out in '98, and 90 days later I was arrested again. My father took his own life, and I just didn't know how to maneuver through life, and so I turned to what I knew best, and that was drug abuse. I was arrested again on several drug charges and sent back to prison. When I got there, I was very angry, very alone. At the same time, I didn't want to give up. And that's kind of how I used my art to keep me smiling, or to make other people smile. Because when they seen it, it made them remember something about their past that made them smile. I like the pencil and what a pencil can do. It's kind of like a magic stick, you know, and when you can bring something to life on paper, it makes you feel good. And it's better than any drug that I've ever taken, because, you know, this is medicating. It's, you know, and it's, you know, when I can do something that makes me feel good and keep feeling good about it for days and, you know, months or whatever to come, I mean, that's what I'm looking for. I was released finally in 2004, and I carried out an armful of artwork and an armful of resentments and a very hungry monster inside me, in which I called an addiction, and it never really resolved. I was arrested for first-degree aiding and abetting conspiracy, was sentenced to 79 months and went into prison. And when I get there, you know, I immediately do what I do any other time. I pick up pencils and paper and I start drawing. But it was a different kind of, it was different this time for me. And I just kind of smiled to myself and I said, I don't know why I'm here, but there's a reason. And I even looked over at one of the guys that I kind of became friends with, and I said, there's a reason why we're here. And he just kind of rolled his eyes like, yeah, whatever, you know. I had done a portrait for a guy, and I had it sitting on a table of his daughter. And here comes the same lady that met us down in the intake. And she walked up and she seen this drawing, and she said, oh my God, who did this? And I said, I did. And she said, really, who did this? And I said, oh, really, I did. She says, do you want a job? She come down and said, would you be interested in talking Mr. Schimber? You know, he's the jail administrator. He has a project that he's been working on, and he's been trying to put together some sort of memorial, so to speak. They're looking for someone that could draw portraits of all the elected sheriffs, appointed sheriffs, and I was excited. And they just started coming to life, and everyone was a journey. Everyone was, you know, kind of a spiritual journey for me, because not only was I drawing just a portrait of a sheriff, but it was drawing part of history. I just really, I felt honored to be a part of this project. I felt like, wow, you know, this is some of my best work. I'm very appreciative. I'm very grateful. I feel like I owe this jail and Mr. Schimber, you know, my life, because I feel like they've given me hope. know I will never come back to prison once I leave, and at least not in shackles and chains. I hope my story will help somebody that may be struggling with their addiction, and just know that life, life is too short, and I've spent most of mine behind bars, in jail, in prison, and it's not worth it. I had to deal with my own addiction, and it's just not a magic wand. It's hard work, but anybody that wants to stay clean and sober can do it. If I can do it, I know anybody can do it.
Every summer since 2004, the Great River Shakespeare Festival in Winona brings the words of the bard to life. It's theater that traces back 400 years, but it's as vital and as entertaining today as it ever was.
The Tragedy of Othello. The Moor of Venice.
What do I love about Shakespeare?
We are on the eve of war.
I love, no matter how many times I see a play, every time I see a Shakespearean play, I learn something.
Excellent, good.
Something that always gets me about Shakespeare is it's kind of like an opera. It's very musical in the way the words are written.
And out of her own goodness, make them net that shall enmesh them.
I think Shakespeare is absolutely, hands down, the most challenging playwright in the world. The poetry is just some of the most beautiful language and some of the most powerful and affecting language, I think, of any playwright I've ever worked with. There's something in Shakespeare that is more deeply connected to the human experience and the human spirit and the human soul than I think any playwright I know.
I think the larger part of our message at the Great River Shakespeare Festival is that Shakespeare is for everybody. It feels sort of as if there's a larger purpose and something more meaningful when what is happening is not only that we're creating a Shakespeare piece, but that in the course of it, we're also discovering ourselves.
You find some occasion to anger Cassio. I think just more operative stress there. That's a new plot point, right?
When we started the theater company, we knew we wanted to be a festival, and we knew that Shakespeare would be our namesake playwright. We wanted it to be something that would have broad community appeal.
Lines 3, 14, 3,
There were
15,
three of us who had the notion that Minnesota didn't really have a good big summer Shakespeare festival. And one of the three original founding directors of the festival had some ideas about where a summer festival might take root. None of those ideas was Winona, Minnesota, but city leaders in Winona got wind of our idea through some mutual connections and friends, and tracked us down, did a little research on us, and then issued an invitation to come to Winona and make Winona our home.
There's probably a whole bunch of different answers for why Winona is the right place to have a Shakespeare festival, starting with the community itself.
This is a place that is known for its recreational opportunities. I mean, people come to Winona because of the river and the great, camping and hiking and fishing and boating opportunities. And they haven't come necessarily because of the great culture in the area. And I think we actually got a whole movement started. It wasn't until the summer of 2004 that we actually opened and produced our first season of plays. We're certainly a little bit larger now than we were when we first started. I think our first season the company was about 70 or 75 people. We're up to about 100 people now.
Do we need another little bit?
Our actors come from all across the country. Minneapolis, New York City, Los Angeles, Milwaukee, Chicago, and all places in between.
so that your business and converse may be more free.
I humbly thank you for it.
I am abused, and my relief must be to loathe her.
To perform Shakespeare, it is easy to trust the play that you're doing.
Unmake, do what she list, even as her appetite shall play the god with his weak function.
Shakespeare has such a big imagination for what the human spirit is, and he's got such huge compassion for the human spirit that he portrays people of all different types, and he portrays them with humanity. He says, this is who we are, this is what human beings are. And it's what I truly love about exploring these plays.
That's for Rita.
Oh, okay. I think the unique place that live entertainment has, live theater has, we live in a time where we shift everything in time. We tend to record our television programs or watch them online. We have conversations via text message. We're not used to being in the same space at the same time with other people. And there aren't a lot of activities that demand that. In the live theater, you have to come in when the event starts, and the lights go down.
The tragedy of Othello!
And everybody experiences at the same time. We're all going to laugh together, we're all going to cry together, we're all going to experience it at the same time. And when we go back out in the lobby, we've all been through the same experience, and then we're going to talk about that. And those are rare experiences anymore.
Yes, it's a devil. It's a good devil. Exactly.
So, in addition to the 2 plays by Shakespeare, and now 3 plays altogether, one of which is not by Shakespeare, we also offer a 4th production, really, which is our intern apprentice company project, which is done in a different theater space from the one in which the professional company performs.
Lavinia, you are not displeased with this.
The most important thing that I've learned here being a part of this program is what it means to do professional theater. As a young aspiring theater artist, it gives me a perfect example of what theater can be.
And suffer not dishonor to approach the imperial seat.
It showed me what I want to develop into and the kind of artist that I want to be.
Great. After spending a summer just immersed in Shakespeare, I'm more articulate and I use words better.
Definitely, it starts to work its way into your vocabulary a little bit.
I was sending a text in iambic pentameter the other day and oh, okay.
Yeah, I was laughing. Ha ha, ha ha, ha ha, ha ha.
We also have a Shakespeare for Young Actors program that really teaches kids in the community and from outside the community a lot about working on Shakespeare as an actor, about analyzing verse, and they get to work on a play by Shakespeare.
Tell him I'll knock his leek about his pate upon St. Davy's Day.
Call me strange, but I love high school students.
Is not their climate foggy, raw, and dull? When you're saying that, what do you want to get?
I think when you're from the ages of 14 to 18, it's a time when experiences can be very, very positive or very, very negative for you. And so I really wanted to be a part of creating those experiences that were very positive. And I hope that that's what we're doing.
Not today. Oh, Lord. Oh, not today. Think not upon the...
Oh, I love Shakespeare because the language is so beautiful and so classic, but it's still so relatable to modern day. And it's amazing after all these years that people can still watch them and still find them so fascinating. I think doing Shakespeare is actually easier than other kinds of shows because the language is all, well, most of it is in rhythm, so it's just like saying poetry. And I don't know, I just find it more fun because you're speaking words that have been around for forever.
The Dauphin longs for morning.
He longs to eat the English.
So one of the things that you get to see in the latter part of the season at the Great River Shakespeare Festival is you get to see actors at all stage of growth and development and at all ages grappling with this great playwright.
I know that when the festival first started, there were some people who might have said that, I don't know if Winona is a place for Shakespeare, but I don't think anyone doubts that this is a home. it's really taken root, and the community has just embraced Great River Shakespeare Festival. I would say if you think that you don't know or like Shakespeare, you should come and be surprised.
We're looking back again this week at some of the people we met during the first season of Off 90. Today, we're really stepping back in time with the old-fashioned sound of an authentic brass band. The Chatfield Brass Band and Music Lending Library is a huge source of pride for the town. Find out what makes both the band and the library important and unique.
Band music is fun. If the bandstand is the crown of the community, the brass band is the jewel in that crown. The Chatfield Brass Band in this community, I think, has a special place.
My father was Jim Perkins, who started the brass band in 1969 and the brass band Free Music Lending Library shortly after that. My dad decided that Chatfield needed to have an area band. And so what he did is he grabbed some old high school yearbooks and looked for pictures of people that he knew, sent him a note saying, hey, show up at band practice Thursday night. So once they created the band, then the biggest challenge was sheet music. They had to have music to play. But where do you find it?
Where do you find that music? In these filing cabinets.
This is a library of mostly band music. We lend the actual paper music out to bands and individuals all over the world.
This library is an incredible resource with literally tens and tens of thousands of compositions of almost every imaginable nature. It basically becomes part of one big story, the American melting pot music story of music from different cultures.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, one man, a vision, and a dream. He's been gone almost 20 years, and just to really see this thrive and live on, it's just very worthwhile. I think he really found joy in that. Just filling lives and communities full of music is what a great gift to do. What a great legacy to leave behind.
Moving to a new country, learning a new language, giving up what's familiar. Those are all just some of the challenges that inspired native Chilean sculptor Alonso Sierralta to create his latest body of work. We invite you now to take some time to look over a few of his pieces, recently showcased at the James Wegner Art Gallery on the Riverland Community College campus in Austin. See if you can spot the artist's themes of displacement and adaptation. We'll see you next week, Off 90.
Funding for Off 90 is provided in part by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota.